So this next award is a citation for bravery. If I could have Officer John Christ, Officer Brian Fockler, Officer Lee Meyer come to the podium. Sergeant Bill Knowlden, Officer Fernando Puig, and Officer Alex Waddell were not able to make it today, but they all played significant roles in this event. It's interesting, when we train in law enforcement and in public safety, you know, they tell you expect the unexpected. And 25 years in law enforcement, I can tell you that I don't know that you could ever have been ready for what these officers were to encounter on this day. This was a really high-profile event and a very unfortunate incident, but because of these officers, 2 lives were saved. On January 17th of this year, officers from the 5th District responded to an address on Cherry Bend Drive in Germantown, and they were asked to check the welfare of the children in a townhome. There was a neighbor that had observed a bloody knife in front of the townhouse, and they were concerned for the welfare because they knew there was a mother who lived there with her 4 children. And the mother also had another adult female that was residing with them at the time. Officer Brian Fockler and Officer Lee Meyer were the first officers on the scene, and they attempted to get an answer at the door, but they did not get any response. They observed a small car parked directly in front of the townhome, and it had keys inside the vehicle. They spoke to the neighbor, trying to figure out what's their next step is going to be, and the neighbor had advised them about the mother living there with the 4 small children. A little more history in this case is the night before, another neighbor had called about the mother acting suspiciously out in front of the residence. So armed with this information, they made a decision to make entry into the residence. I know that Sergeant Bill Knowlden and Officer Alex Waddell also responded, and together they made entry into the residence. They had found a set of car keys that had the house key on it in the vehicle that was parked out front, which again was odd that the keys were in the vehicle to the townhouse. So as they're opening the door, they can hear loud voices upstairs. They open the door, and if you can imagine and picture, as you walk into the townhome, the stairs are directly to your left, right in front of you. And they see a young boy, 8 years old, walking down the steps, and he's wrapped in a blanket. And he keeps saying, "I was in the shower, I'm in the shower." The mother then comes down behind him, and they're giving her directions to come down the stairs. And she has what I would consider like a death stare, that blank stare, like she's looking right through you. It's an eerie situation, not knowing exactly what's going on. They bring her down. As they come down to the main level, yet another adult female appears at the top of the stairs, and her face is covered in baby powder, and she also has a large laceration on her neck and plenty of blood. So as the mom and the 8-year-old son come down to the main level, they continue to go down into the basement and start to bolt out the back door. Officer Meyer gave chase, as did Sergeant Knowlden. Officer Meyer actually tackled the mother out behind the townhomes, and Officer Knowlden chased the 8-year-old who came back around to the front of the townhomes. I guess Lee was a little quicker than Bill was. And he gets into the car, and he locks himself in the vehicle. So Officer Knowlden was able to make entry into the vehicle, and he immediately recognized that this young 8-year-old boy had sustained multiple stab wounds to his upper torso. At this time, Officer John Christ and Fernando Puig arrived, and they entered the residence and checked the top floor. It was then that they located 2 small children deceased in the master bedroom. A further search resulted in locating a 5-year-old female who also sustained a visible laceration to her face and a stab wound. Officer Puig immediately picked the 5-year-old girl up, carried her down the steps, and put her into the arms of waiting fire rescue, who was able to provide life-saving efforts as well. Both of the children, the 5-year-old and the 8-year-old, were transported to Children's Hospital with life-threatening injuries. The 8-year-old underwent surgery, and once at the hospital, and he survived. And fortunately, the 5-year-old also survived. It was later determined in interviews with our Major Crimes Division that the mother and her adult friend decided that they needed to do an exorcism of these children. And so they killed the 2 babies. But in the middle of this horrific incident, these officers were called. We had a citizen that had the wherewithal to contact the police. The police made the right decision to make entry, and they interrupted 2 additional homicides, and their 2 kids that are here alive today because of their actions. It's one of the most bizarre incidents that I can think of in recent memory, but these officers really handled themselves in an exemplary manner. I'm proud of their work and pleased to present this citation for bravery to them.